First of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to interact with all the startups in the Lift Off program at Vadwani. Today, we're going to focus on a specific tool which I have used multiple times to coach startuppreneurs and SMEpreneurs, as actually applies to both. And we'll spend the first half an hour going through the tool, and then we will actually have discussions around it, your queries, your doubts, and we'll see how you can actually implement it. You will also get a chance to download it. I'll show you where you can go and you can download it and you can utilize it practically in your business in the coming days, right? So it is a tool which you will be using. It's not a theoretical tool. It's something which you're going to apply, and it's also something which will help you define your sales and your marketing strategies. I've taken the liberty of including the marketing funnel in our discussion today. The reason being, at a startup stage, we don't have separate sales and marketing teams. So your sales and marketing funnel is pretty much the same funnel itself, and one impacts the other. So that's why I'm kind of combining both of them, and you'll also see why. So let's get started. I am on the customer advisory board of a couple of startups in Africa, where my role is to ensure that the business is truly oriented towards the customer. So whatever strategies that they make, which is impacting the customer, is kind of become their internal auditor to ensure that everything is aligned towards the customer. And we are truly a customer-oriented organization, all segments of business. Now, let's get started with the program, the topic of the day. Here, I have put together a very simple sales funnel. I have defined 5 stages in it. So each of you may have 5 stages, may have more or lesser stages. You can adapt this as per your business requirements. So let's look at what are the stages that I have identified over here. First one is where the widest part of the funnel is where you have created an awareness about your product or service with your customer segment, or the customer becomes aware of your product. Either you become aware of the customer or the customer becomes aware of your product or business. The customer expresses interest in what you are offering. That's the second stage. Then they evaluate your product or your services, and they make a decision, a conscious decision to buy from you. And lastly, the actual purchase happens, right? So this, if you see, is all from the customer's perspective. Remember, Shruti said, I love to talk about the customer perspective. I have successfully been able to coach business owners to solve some of their challenges, or when they have to make a decision regarding conflicting priorities, by using the customer perspective. So here today I've started with the customer perspective itself, right? And I'm sure this is very familiar to all of you. So let's look at the same funnel from the business perspective and see what exactly it means to us internally as a business. What happens here? When we're looking at the awareness, what we are actually trying to say is how can we reach the target audience? What is a reach to the target audience that we want to? Whether it is socially done, digitally done, or physically done, doesn't matter. This is the target audience that we are trying to create the awareness with, right? The next one, at the interest stage, this is typically when we get an inquiry, right? So if the customer is interested, how do we track it? By the fact that we've got inquiries coming in, right? Evaluations could be when there are some feature discussions happening over here with the customer. So they not just inquire, but they get into a deeper discussion about your features, your pros and cons, comparisons between you and the competitor. So this is where the feature discussions happen. The decision is where mainly the pricing discussions happen. It could be if you're a B2B, it's where you can send out a commercial proposal. If you are a B2C or a SaaS, this is where they go to your pricing page. And then the last one, purchase, is where your actual sales closure happens. Now, for you may realize that suppose not all of you will have these 5 stages. If you're a B2C, your funnel may be a little bit more shorter. That means maybe your inquiry and the discussion is actually 1 stage rather than 2 stage, or your discussion on your pricing can be 1 stage, right? So the funnel would apply irrespective of the number of stages that you have. Okay, so what you can do is define your sales and marketing funnel based on the different stages. Okay, My advice is not to have more than 5 stages. It becomes very difficult for you to manage, and I will also show you why. So a 5 is the maximum. I know organizations who have 7 stages, but these are typically enterprise businesses who have a longer sales cycle. So unless you are in that frame, a 5 stage sales funnel should be the maximum that you should try identify for your organization. Okay, so we are going to use this simple sales funnel in building actual funnel for our organization. This is the tool that you will see. Let me hide the. Okay, so this is the tool that you will see. It's called the sales and marketing funnel. There are 3 sheets in it, and the first sheet, introduction, gives you a little guideline on how to use the tool. Okay, so you can use that. So let's start with mentioning the name of your company. Let's say I'm calling it ABC Company. Okay, and this is for the year 2023-24. I'm using it for this year. Okay, so that's your introduction. I have also bought the sales funnel over here for your easy recall. That this is the funnel that we are going to be using over here. Okay. Now, we are going to build this funnel specifically for your organization based on your revenue goals. So what we are doing is that we are saying that each of us have a business revenue goal that we have identified that we want to do for this year. So we're going to take that revenue goal and work backwards and see how what kind of funnel do we need to have to be able to reach the revenue goals that we've got to identify. So let's go to the sheet 3. Okay. Now, one small instruction for all of you is that when you're in any of my templates, all the places where you have to where it is highlighted in gray, those are the cells where you need to input your data, right? So just only those cells where it is highlighted in gray, just input your data only in those cells. So let's start. Now, the first one says, so column A has all the questions, column B has an example, and column C is where you're going to create this for your business. So let's start with the first one. The question here is, do you have any renewal sales from last year? This applies to those organizations who have been in business for the before March 31st or so, and they are the ones who, if you have some business which is a subscription model, so they just simply renewed this year, so you can add those numbers over here. Okay, in case you don't have it, you just put 0. Now, we are already in the month of June in the financial year. So I'm sure some of you have already done some amount of business. So you can put in that amount, that billing value over here. In my example, I'm going to say that I have done 1,50,000. Now notice I have not put in any currency because I use the same template when I'm doing when I'm mentoring the business owners in Africa or in US. So I have not put in any currency. You're welcome to change that and add your currencies over here. Okay. So as of now, I'm not going to put a currency. You can leave that. Now, let's say that I have already achieved 1,50,000 rupees since we're doing it in India till date. But my target for the entire year is about, let's say, 20 lakhs. I want to earn 20 lakhs this year. Okay, so you can see that the balance sales that has to be achieved is 18,50,000. Okay, next one is any sales that you're expecting from non-marketing. What does it mean is that are you expecting any sales to happen without you spending money on marketing? Now this could be references that are coming in, or you already by now there is a pipeline and you know that those guys are going to be signing up. You can put in that amount. So in my example, I am going to say that I have some 50,000 50,000 that's going to come to me as the sales from non-marketing. Okay. So now if you, sorry, did I put it 5 lakhs? Okay. So that means now I need to just, that means I need to now expected sales from marketing leads is around 18 lakhs. Okay. So now how many months do I have left? Since we're already in the end of June, I'm going to say we've got 9 more months. This translates to that I need to earn at least 2 lakhs of revenue per month. Now that's the pipeline that I need to build. Okay. So next question that we're going to add, data that we're going to add is what's the average revenue per building? Was that a question? Okay, we will handle questions. Let me finish this funnel, and then we will have lots of questions around this. Okay, so let's say that my average billing is about 1,000 rupees. So I'm in a B2C business. I have volume business, and I'm saying that my average billing is 1,000 rupees. Now so automatically we can see that I need to raise 1,800 invoices per month. So my funnel has started building. Okay. So based on the numbers that I have put in, every month I need to raise 1,800 invoices for me to be at an average value of 1,000 rupees to reach my target of 18 lakhs now. Okay, clear? So now what we're going to do is start building the funnel, and we're going to build it upside down. So this 1,800, if you see, is the sales closed, number of invoices I need. So now let's work backwards. For me, for every 10 commercial proposals that I send, or for every 10 pricing discussions that I have, how many do you think will move into the sales closed stage? So I'm thinking now, if you have existing customers, you can go back to your that data and you can enter that first. Out of 10, that means, let's say if I say out of 10, 7 of them, that means 70%. We can just put the number 70, it will take it as a percentage. Okay, actually convert into closure for me. So if you see, that is my funnel is being built over here. Now, for those of you who don't have a number, that means you don't have an existing already paid customer, so you don't have this data, I want you to make an assumption and note this assumption down, write it down. Okay, so you're assuming that out of every 10 customers with whom you have a financial discussion, 7 of them you will be able to convert them. Okay, and this gets documented so that at the later stage, after 1 month, we are able to go back and evaluate if our assumptions were right or wrong, where we're being overcautious or where we're being confident. We can go back and we can check that out. Okay, so now let's go back to the next stage. From every 10 feature discussions that we are having, how many of them move into a pricing discussion? So I'm saying in my discussion, I say that, hey, you know what? Out of 10 people, I have a detailed feature discussion. At least 6 of them ask me for the prices and start getting into a pricing negotiation stage. So that means it is 60% conversion. So I just put 60 over there. It will take the percentage as a conversion. So now you see again my funnel is being built. Again, working backwards, out of 10 inquiries that I get, how many of them move into a feature discussion or a more deeper discussion about the products or services or whatever it is, right? So I say out of every 10 inquiries I get, I'll say again 7 of them move into a feature discussion. And then lastly, out of a target audience of 10 people, how many of them actually come up and inquire about my product? Now this ratio is generally very small. So let's say I'm saying it's about 20% here. Okay. So now if you see, your funnel is ready. What does the funnel tell you? That every month you need to reach out to 30,000 people. So if you have an app, that means you need to have 30,000 downloads. If you have a website or a marketplace, you need to have 30,000 visitors per month for you to be able to get 1,800 invoice at the end of the month with an average value of 1,000. So your funnel is now, your monthly funnel is ready. Okay. So any questions on this before we move ahead on how do we evaluate this? Clear? Right? Pretty simple enough if you work on this stage by stage.
One quick question. The conversions, this is Balaji. The conversion numbers that you have put in, these are, I mean, for the people who doesn't have these numbers, these are ballpark figures typically used, or something that you have put just for an example here?
I just put it as an example. Okay. Now for each one of you, if you have existing data, go back and make that calculation before you put in these numbers. And for those of you who don't have it, you must be having some numbers, some assumptions in your mind. Put those numbers over here. This I have put is just ballpark figures. There is no. It's not a trend. It's not a research analysis numbers that I put in.
Is there any? I mean, at least you go for an investment or a VC pitch or whatever. What is the accepted numbers? You have any?
So actually, Balaji, that's a very variant answer, because depending on the industry, depending on your price tag, depending upon your competition, and your stages of funnel, right? All of these will change, right? In fact, I'm going to show you why and how you manage that piece of it also.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, but thank you for the question, Balaji. Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions you have on this funnel right now?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you very much for this presentation. It's very nice. I think it's useful things. And then this, like you mentioned, number of visitors required. That is our forecasting. That how much we need per month to visit. That is the number we have to put there.
Sorry, Arshad, I'm not able to hear you clearly. Shruti, if you can hear, can you clarify what he's saying? I have a very strong echo from his voice.
Is it clear now?
Yes, it's better.
Clear now. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah. So my question is like number of visitors you mentioned, no?
Yes.
Number of visitors. That is our forecasting that we have to put in that per month, right?
The number of visitors has come as a calculation based on the percentages that you put in.
That is automatically coming there?
Yes, it is automatically coming.
Okay.
So you have to just make sure that you fill it in the gray cells only. Okay, the gray highlighted cells.
Okay.
The formulas will take care of all the rest of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
The question is there.
Yes, please.
Can I continue, Anil Deshpande?
Yes, Anil, go ahead.
Just in your Excel, I missed the link to understand how 1800 is coming from the top first entry after.
So 1800 is calculated. Yeah, it's a simple calculation for that. I need to earn 2 lakhs per month, right?
Yeah.
And what is this? So this is, if you see, total of 18 lakhs per month, right? Total leads, and this is about 1,000 rupees per revenue.
Correct, but that is per year or per month?
Sorry. So this is the month, right? Just give me. Yeah, you're right. This should be from here. Thanks. Thanks for correcting. Yeah, thank you for correcting that. Okay, so it will take care of the formula by itself, any which way. So let me just make sure that is, that will take care of things, right? So you need to have about 200 invoices, 70%, 60 and 70 and 20. Okay, so it's coming up to about 3,401 people. Thank you for correcting that, Anil.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, hi ma'am. Is this for product or a service, or both of them can use this?
It applies. If you notice, I did not mention what is the product or service. It applies for both.
Both. Okay.
Okay.
What if the service costs are very high, around 50,000 or 1 lakh, 50,000 to 1 lakh? Then all this data will get gray cell. We have to reduce it so that the
Good
inquiries
point.
will.
Good point, Ram. For those of you who have, let's say, a product and a service, okay, and the pricing between the two is very different, so then you please don't average it out. What you need to do is create a separate sales funnel, a sales and marketing funnel for your product, and a separate sales and marketing funnel for your services. Okay, so you can just copy this sheet into another one and then do it over there, including for those of you who have more than one product itself. Okay, and if the buying cycles are different, the stages are different, the conversion rates are different, the pricing is different, any of these things is different, I would suggest that you create a sales and marketing funnel for each of these products rather than for each of them, rather than try to average it out. Then it loses the power. The power of this tool becomes less if you just average everything out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question, Ram.
Hi, ma'am. I have a question.
Yes.
So, I have two folded approaches to revenue earning. One is from the consumer part, because ours is a free premium model. So we have consumers who would be using some of the services for free, and some would be add-on or maybe yearly subscriptions currently. Okay, so it might be like a monthly thing which they can subscribe for a period of time, renew it, or it might be one shot. So as per your last statement, so I have to make two different sheets for it, right? So for the one which will be like monthly, I will calculate monthly, and if there are three different services within that monthly thing also, it will be three different sheets, right?
Yeah, so if your Munmun, one thing is that if your freemium is actually your top of the funnel, for some of you your freemium is the top of the funnel, so then this can you can just simply use the freemium over here. You just simply rename this, right? Instead of it's a this one formula here, right? So if you can just simply change the name of the, instead of total number of visitors, you can say total number of premium users. Okay, so you can just simply change that itself. That's one for everybody. So you can adapt this to that. The other thing is, if you have three products, now again, the answer to that is that if your number of stages are different for these three products, if your conversion rates are different, if the purchase journey is different, then you create three funnels. Okay. But if everything is similar, and if you think you're not losing out critical insights by averaging the information, then you can use it as one single funnel for all your products.
Ma'am, because currently, since we've recently launched, we do not have enough data to understand which would be the conversion ratios. Okay. So when we say the conversion journey, so I'll give you a small example. One in our product range for the subscribers, one of the services is for expert advisory services. Now expert advisory services is something which people may grab considering the price points are very low, or it might just be that people are very skeptical about being on a platform and sharing their the issues. So we currently do not know. On the other hand, we have an interest club where people might be willing to just invest 99 rupee per month and be part of these clubs where there is a lot of interest conversation happening around photography, around travel. So that might be easier. So in that case, should we put it two separately? Because I'm not very sure how the conversions would be. Maybe we will need to spend more or reach out organically more for the experts session rather than the interest clubs. So
good point, Munmun. So in this particular case, I would say two different separate funnels. The reason being that your path to purchase would be, that the reason being that your path to purchase for each of these products is different.
Right.
So if you see here, the path to purchase from in this example, okay, is visitors, then they're making inquiries, getting into a pricing feature discussion. This is the path to purchase, right? Whereas when it comes to just the interest, it could be a very quick, so the number of visitors that you reach, and people directly signing up over there, right? Or maybe they creating a login ID, and then third one would be taking the payment. It's a very shorter funnel over there. But when it comes to consulting and all of those advice, expert services, they will take a longer time to make a decision. You may need to do additional things in between rather than that. So then that's where you can keep it as two separate funnels. Also, I think the pricing is different over here, right?
Yeah, the pricings are absolutely different.
Then like definitely two funnels.
When it comes to the monthly one, this is suitable for my business when it is a monthly subscription. But when it comes to the smaller ones, the add-on services, monthly subscriptions, then the funnel looks very different, because since we still do not have hands-on data. The second part to the question was the other aspect of our business revenue model is through corporate collaboration. So we have advertisements and collaborators and commissions which we are going to earn over coming months, I would say, not immediately but in the future. So when we are starting to kind of people kind of working for B2B associations, people who are going to go do the collaborations, in that case, how do we look into these funnels? Because say like if we reach out to say 10 collaborators, like I'll give you an example. Say if it's an interest club, and if there are 10 bookstores who we want to target in the city, and out of that we know maybe only 2 will sign up, but we have to kind of invest in those 10 bookstores. So how do we take that? Like this now becomes B2B. So if it would good if you can explain a little bit on that aspect also.
Mudmud, the rule remains the same. Okay, if your B2B path to purchase is different from your B2C, simply 2 funnels. As simple as that, right? If your pricing is different, if your conversion rates are different, it is two different funnels. Simple. That applies for everything. Okay. And you've also got a very interesting topic. Another point is, for those of you who have different sales channels or marketing channels, you can actually also create separate funnels for each of the channels to see which channel has a better conversion rates for you. So if you have a physical channel and a digital channel, or in the physical you have a direct channel and you have a partner channel, you can actually use the same funnel to separate funnels and say that, okay, this is my partner funnel, this is my direct funnel, and see the comparison over there and see where your efforts are less but your returns are higher. So if you see, this is a very agile tool which you can use in multiple scenarios. Okay? Perfect. Great. So let me continue. So by now what you've realized is that you can build a funnel. But then what are you going to do with this funnel? What is the use of this funnel? Okay, let's have a look at that now. And how can you also optimize this funnel for yourself? Now, for those of you who see that, okay, to raise 200 invoices per month, I need to get 3,401 customers on my visitors per month. Now, for those of you for whom this is a very difficult number, like, my God, how am I going to get 3,000? I know currently, my number of visitors is just touching 1,000. Okay, so how can I even get to 200? I mean, how do I get to 3,400? Right now, if that is your tension, the fear, what happens is, one is that when you put in these numbers and build this funnel at the first phase, you can see these numbers and you can see that, hey, which of these is actually doable and which one do you think is just about impossible for you to do. Right? So you become clear that which stages of your funnel is the weak link. Okay, so at that time, let's start looking at some of the look at what are the places where you can optimize to ensure that these numbers are more doable, for you to start with. Let's look at the conversion at each stage. Now here I said that the number of proposals I sent out, or the number of pricing discussions I had, so out of 10, 7 of them are actually getting converted into a sale for me. So now if you just focus on this one area, because this is the most mature part of your funnel, and say that instead of 7, if I'm able to do something and convince one more person, one more business, one more customer in this stage alone, not the entire thing, just this particular stage. So you laser focusing on this particular stage and saying at this stage, if I am able to improve, streamline, do things, bring changes at this one single stage, and instead of converting 7 out of 10, if I do 8 out of 10, what will happen? So remember that your current visitors is 3,400, and here if you make it from 70 to 80%. So your number of visitors, if you see, just by improving that one person over here, your number of visitors per month from 3,400 has become 2,976. It's reduced by nearly about 400 number counts. Okay, so this way you can actually go to each stage and see. So you may say, okay, you know what, it's impossible for me to improve this better. I think 7 out of 10 is the best that I can do. Okay, but then this stage where I'm having this, where the customers are evaluating my products, I think this is the place where I can influence them more. I have a couple of ideas where I can focus and say that this stage where they're evaluating, I can make sure that we get into a more detailed pricing discussion. That means you're nudging the customer to start talking commercials, and so then that is there. So instead of 6 out of 10, it becomes one more person, and says it becomes 7 out of 10. See what happens. This becomes 2,915. Okay, so like this, you can actually go and see at each stage, identify what are you doing at each stage, and say and think that what can I do at that stage to make an improvement to convince one more customer at this stage. And you may, like I said, you may not be able to do it at all the stages, but you at 1 or 2 stages you may be able to do this. For example, the last one, this is the lowest ratio that is there. Generally, the number of inquiries conversion rates are always low. But what if you start identifying the right customer segments, right? And you are focusing only on instead of reaching out to the world at large, you're focusing on a specific customer segments. And if there you are able to improve on this, so instead of 20%, you're able to add one more person, you're able to convince one more person. See, your numbers goes down to 2,268. That's nearly about 800 counts less, right? So this way, you will be able to, you will be able to break down the effort required at each stage. You're able to evaluate at each stage what can you do to improve and optimize your funnel. And this is why this is a very powerful tool. Because when I've done these exercises with some of the other startups, they realized at specifically what stage they have to make an improvement. Right? Now let's take as an example that this particular stage of yours, your conversion rate is very low. Okay, and you know that conversion now, because you're focusing at each stage and you're looking at your conversion rates, so you know that this is the area that I need to improve upon. Typically what happens is an organization, when they're looking at the sales funnel, they're looking at this one single unit and they don't know where to make the improvement. Here it becomes very, very clear that this is the stage at which I have the lowest conversion. This is where I need to focus upon and bring a change about. So rather than focusing on the entire funnel, I focus on this one single stage and say, what am I doing over here? What is the customer expecting? What is the customer's experience? And how can I improve on that to just improve this one stage? Now, can you think of another stage, another metric which can impact your funnel? Each conversion rate is one area where you can make improvements. Which other area can you look into to improve your funnel? Any thoughts?
Cost.
Yes, cost or the pricing, right? So if you are able to increase the average revenue per billing, so instead of 1,000, if you are able to just convince customers and get 1,100, you've created some value pack, you've created some upselling opportunity, you've bundled something, and you've just increased the price tag from 1,000 to 1,100. See what happens to your funnel. Now you need only 2,068 visitors per month at the top of your funnel, right? So at this number, you can look into, like I said, either bundling or in also what you could do is increase the frequency of purchasing. If it is possible, if one customer buys twice, if you see, though that is not calculated in this form, in this funnel, let's just say there's 182 invoices which is there, is actually on an average each customer buys it twice from you in a month. That means what you need to do is get 50% of this funnel, of this entire funnel, because 50% of the numbers are going to each one of them going to buy twice from you. So you see, there's so many ways, there's so many conversations, there's so many points of analysis that you can have only by this simple funnel.
don't have this any conversion जो rates है मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा actually ये जो आपने proposal conversion rate है या अपना sales invoice conversion rates है so we have direct inquiries and direct conversion is there.
And who gives you the inquiries?
जी
inquiry कहाँ से आता है आपको?
आप direct आता है.
डायरेक्ट किससे? कंज्यूमर से आता है या स्टोर से आता है या डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर से आता है या रिटेलर से आता है?
कंज्यूमर्स वी आर इनटू B2C मॉडल. B2C
मॉडल है आपका, ठीक है. तो अभी so how do you market? What is your marketing funnel? How does the customer come to know?
As such, we don't have as such. We are doing mouth to mouth publicity only. That's all we do right now.
अच्छा.
और डिजिटल में थोड़ा सा हम लोग कर रहे हैं, but we are doing into B2B model, B2C model only by mouth to mouth publicity only.
अच्छा, so and this is limited to a specific geography. अगर ये mouth to mouth है, is it specific to a geography?
To my city itself, only to Bhopal.
Within Bhopal, you're doing this, right? So now, now in that case, so how many people do you need to talk about the eggs, right? And for you to build this funnel for yourself. So that means how will you, like for example, आपके existing customers, how many references should you get? That could be your funnel, right? And not okay. So generally with a direct, it's basically about if you're getting inquiry and I'm assuming they're just calling you directly because they want to buy the eggs from you, right? Rarely ऐसा होता होगा क्योंकि आपसे बात करके फिर अंडे नहीं खरीदते. Is it correct?
हमसे बात करते हैं, हमारे किसी भी एक कस्टमर से बात करते हो, directly they send us the referral, we get the results.
अच्छा, तो ये repeat customer से आपके या एक ही one time customer से?
No sir, we are repeat order from every customer.
Correct.
Every time. It is 100% repeat.
So what you deliver it to their house? कैसा होता है ये?
We do a home delivery system. हम लोग पूरा काम करते हैं.
अच्छा. ठीक है.
हमारा पैकिंग वाला हमने अभी हमने पैकिंग भी स्टार्ट किया on the shops also.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's for normal, like for our high quality eggs, we are doing only home to home deliveries.
And how do they place the order?
नॉर्मल व्हाट्सएप पे सर मैं मैसेज कर देते हैं, दैट्स ऑल.
They just message it to you and then you deliver it to them. Yeah, okay. So, and you're not doing any marketing to them right now?
No, nothing as such.
Okay.
Not much. You can just say कि we have a Facebook बनाया हुआ है, Facebook, Instagram सब बनाया है, but we are not doing that much marketing.
Okay. So मुझे अभी जो समझ में आ रहा है, and we may have to talk in more detail little later on. In this case, when it is direct, you may not have much of a funnel work. Okay. But when you get into the digital side of it, then you will have a funnel work. That is one. The second thing is that आपका B2B जो करोगे आप, उसमें आपका funnel आएगा, because you will talk to 10 different stores. Not everybody will agree to keep those eggs, right? So, and some will say yes, some will say no, and then some will say whatever conditions they will do pricing का negotiation with you. हमको इतना चाहिए per egg. So all of those things will come to you in a B2B. As of now, direct में there is a funnel, but it's not visible to you. What it means is कि आपके existing customers are talking to people. Not that everybody they talk to, they're talking about the eggs. Not that everybody they talk to about the eggs is coming and buying from you. So there is a funnel there, but it's not visible for you, and you're not able to control that right now because your existing customers are controlling it. Okay, so उसके लिए this tool is not for that. There is a different discussion points for that. For that it is not. So अभी जो situation आपका है mouth to mouth referrals जो हो रहा है, that उसके लिए this is not good. B2B and digital के लिए हो जाएगा.
Okay, when we are going digitally, can you explain me what do you mean by the commercial proposal? What do you आप conversion rate आपने बताया है?
हाँ.
थोड़ा हमें समझा दे, हमें समझ नहीं आया.
ठीक है, तो मतलब वहाँ when you are doing a B2, when you are doing a digital marketing, and for I'm sure this is quite a few of you are doing digital marketing also, right? So you can change these stages, the name of the stages. So in your case, for example, it will be the number of visitors who are visiting your social pages or your website, or even your people who are joining your WhatsApp group. That becomes the top of your funnel, right? Now, out of that, how many of them inquire? Because directly, how many of them inquire कि what is different about these eggs? They just want to know more about it. So that could be the one. Then you will get people who will ask you for the pricing. You may not have any this stage may not be there where they're having a detailed discussion because it's a small value product. So they may just ask you for the pricing. Now everybody who asks you for the pricing may not actually buy. So that is where the funnel comes in. Okay. So now in your case, you don't have this beach wala stage. You don't have the evaluation wala stage. Okay. So for
what
those
is this evaluation wala stage, ma'am?
That is where they're having a deeper discussion. They want to know more information. Product का चाहिए. They want they want a feature description. आपके पास वो feature description वाला नहीं है, right? This is for other businesses, right?
No, अपना वाला feature.
हाँ जी.
But मैम थोड़ा सा हमको डिटेल भी लगता है because we have a different sort of egg altogether. तो कभी-कभी हमारा बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल भी जाते हैं हम लोग.
अच्छा, then it's fine. अगर वो है, then it comes 5 stages for you. But for those of you who don't have any one of these stages, okay? अगर आप किसी को भी लगता है कि ये stage नहीं है, what you can do is it's just ये जो 60% लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे ना, इसको आप 100 कर दीजिए to use this tool. So if you use this tool, for example, देखो ये, this is let me show it over here. When I use it as 100, that means both these stages are showing 260. Because there's only one stage over here. So you can still use the same funnel. Whichever stage is not there, उसको आप 100% conversion कर दीजिए. So you can ignore one of these stages and just look at the other numbers. Okay. So this will happen because there are some people who have only 3 stages. Like you said, so B2C ज़्यादा बात नहीं करते, inquiry करते हैं, price पूछते हैं, and then they decide to buy or not buy, right? So उसके हिसाब से you can also change this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
From Sauratron Private Limited. So we are basically an IT company. we have created a product, edu entertainment product, and it is on GIS. It's basically a GIS based application, like mapping. So we are portraying the history of our country over a map, using different elements such as animation, visuals, and audio, narration, and it's kind of a story, storytelling. So we are doing a storytelling of our history using the map. So our basic, the target market is students. And students are not the buyers. The parents are the buyers here.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then we have other market wherein schools, institutes, and the archaeological department, tourism department. So there are multiple ways of getting into the market using our product. And for those, we have a different segments and different licensing strategy. And for individuals, we have different. So what we are trying to do when we talk about history, we go with the epic version of it. So when it comes to an epic, it is like the one full epic, see Mahabharata, Ramayana, or Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, or Maharana Pratap, any of those character or history that we are talking, and that is an epic, and the stories inside that, the chapters inside that are multiple. So it can go, if it is a vast, it can go with volumes, epic volumes and chapters. So if it is a minimum, so it's just like volume, epic and volume and few chapters, that's all. So when we are selling at an epic level, it requires to be created in volume segments, and when we are doing that, it needs time. So we need, say, if we are creating Mahabharata or something such a big of an epic, it will take, say, for us 2 years of time. But we cannot wait for 2 years to reach the market and try our prototype or product, something like that. So what we are trying to do is like breakdown. So when we are doing a breakdown of it, like we are going to release it in a series kind of a thing. Like how does the series come in? So like every 6 months, we are going to come out with one volume. So we are going to price that volume on the initial stage, and then we are going to price the entire epic once the epic is ready.
Okay, got that.
So how do we do a sales funnel for this kind of a product?
So,
Yeah, and when we talk of this volumes, each volume has got, say, when we are talking of the first volume itself, it has got 36 chapters. So there is effort because like we are creating 3D animation, and there are a lot of things involved in that, and there are people involved in that. So we need to look after that thing also. And when we are talking of sales here, so we are targeting student market right now, where in Telangana, we are basically in Hyderabad region. So in Telangana, there are around like 21 lakh students. Schools, there are around like 7,000 schools. So 21 lakh students are there, and if we go and market to that, so first way we are trying to reach out is 10 lakh students. So 10 lakh students maximum will be interested, because we are conducting survey and we are getting the inputs from them also. So maximum are interested in the subject the way we are showcasing it. But then the conversion rate, what we are thinking once the product is out in the market and how many will buy, is like 1% is like what we have calculated. So basing on that, we are doing our assumption and going with the strategies that are laid down by Vadhwani Foundation over here. And basing on that assumption is what like we are building. So we want to be very straightforward and very like focused, that if we hit 10 lakh people, it's only about like 10,000 people will buy our product. So we want to be sure in that 10,000 people who are buying that product. So in that, how does it work? We have zero sales, zero current target. The current target is say 10,000. So like that we want to do.
Yes. So good points, Akshay. So सबसे पहले let's talk about your funnel. It's about your funnel that you're building, right?
Yes.
Right now, for you said the epic is not ready, but the episode is ready. So did you say episode, or what did you say? Chapters ready?
Yes, volumes. Chapters will be ready. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So right now you're selling volumes. You're not selling the entire epic. Is that correct?
Yes.
So your funnel that you want to look into will be the current funnel, right?
Yes.
Which is your volume funnel.
Yes.
You can name this funnel the volume funnel.
Yes.
Okay. So within the volume, that is one. Now you've got different chapters, but when do you invoice when is the customer required to make the payment? Is it a one time or a repeat one?
One time. It's one time. Lifetime pay. Yeah, it's a lifetime account for them. Okay. And epic wise or volume wise, they have to buy one time.
Okay. Yeah. So then if you're saying volume wise, okay, it's a one time payment, right? So then this becomes clear for you that this funnel is for volume.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Now let's just say that you decide that you will also keep a track of an epic wise funnel where epic wise, let's say it's a recurring revenue. It's a recurring invoice. That means every month they have to pay, as an example. Okay. That's where you will get this expected sales from non-marketing will come in. Okay. Yes. Because like if I buy this month, okay, then next month also I will buy. Then the next month also I will buy, right? So that is why this is a subscription model. So that means once I may get the billing this month only, I may get the customer in this month, but this customer is going to be with me at least for the next 6 months. So accordingly, you can make the calculation over here.
Okay, ma'am.
Got that?
Yes, okay?
Yes. And that will be in a epic wala funnel. And then you've got, that's going to be on your episode funnel. And then you've got your volume funnel. And then once your epic is ready, maybe you can have an epic funnel also.
Yes.
Okay. So in your epic funnel, actually, your top of the this one will be the existing customers on the volume and the episode.
Yes. Correct.
Makes sense, right?
Yes.
So it's almost like one funnel feeds into the next funnel.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah. So it's easy because your time frame is different. I'm asking you to create separate funnels for that. Okay.
Correct.
That's one point.
Yes.
Now, you also said that that right now you need to reach 10,000. So here I've given invoice value.
Yes.
For those of you who are not looking at the value but who's looking at onboarding more number of customers, okay, you can use the same thing as number of customers instead of calling it volume value. So you can use this as a volume metric rather than a value metric.
Ma'am, if it is more than 10,000, it's a boom for us, and the product is really doing good. So that is the profit for us. Yes,
so here's a thought for you. Okay, you are saying that I need to ensure that 10,000 of them are buying my product.
Yes.
Okay, and you're saying that 10,000 is in what time frame?
We are looking like 6 months. Within 6 months, yes.
Okay, so 10,000 within the month of 6 months. So you can actually say approximately per month I need to have this amount of sign-ups.
Correct. Right? 3,000, 3,500 near around that.
So that means yahan pe you are starting with 3,000 over here. This number of your 182 is actually 3,000.
3,500. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, as an approximate, right? So you start with this, and then you identify what is your funnel stages, right? And you make this conversion rate. Now these are assumptions because you don't have a single customer. Okay.
Yes.
So that is why now this becomes powerful because you are in the you're doing this monthly.
Yes.
You are assuming that this is actually the funnel that these are the conversion rates.
Correct.
Right? So you can have one funnel which is your projected funnel. Okay, and then another funnel which is your actual funnel, and see what is the actual gap.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So when you will be able to again compare stage to stage and figure out at which stage you are being overconfident about your conversion rates or you're being over cautious also. Because we will end up doing a little bit of both.
Correct.
Right? So
correct.
So you will actually be able to say, hey, actually instead of 70%, your real conversion, this is the assumption, but your real was actually 85 as an example.
Correct.
Okay, so that you know that this portion is where you're being overcautious. So the next month when you make an assumption, you will try to factor that in.
Yes.
And you will balance it out. Okay, or it could be the opposite. At this stage, you're thinking you're going to get a 70% conversion, but actually you got only a 50% conversion, and it will reflect on your numbers now.
Yes.
So now you know at the beginning of the month that my next month is I'll have to focus a little bit more on this particular stage, right? And
yes.
Because this month I've not achieved the 3,500, my next month should be make up for it. So maybe my next month target will be 4,000 instead of 3,000.
Correct, ma'am. Ma'am, one more thing I wanted to ask: when we are doing a marketing sale, when we are doing a marketing pitch and when we are going into the market, say if I have invested around like 10 to 20 lakh on a marketing, and then to reach out about my product for 10 lakh people is costing me 2 rupees. So I have invested 2 rupees per person for me to reach out. And then 20 lakh I have burnt on this. So in that 20 lakh, now I have to get back that money and also increase the sales in that same format. So if I invested 20 lakh and I get 10,000 in that, so that is where we'll make the cut, because we are going with a projection of 1,000 rupees per volume, if we say. So we are making somewhere around like 1 CR with 10,000 numbers. So there will be covering up with the marketing cost also, as well as the product development cost also.
Fantastic, Akshay. Thank you for bringing that point over here.
Yes.
Now, if you see, now that as an example in this case, you have these numbers over here. Okay. Yes. Now you know in this. Let's take this example. To reach out 2,061 visitors, to ensure that you get at least 2,000 visitors every month onto your website or your app, how much money do you need to spend? Can you make that calculation? Can you speak to your marketing team, your marketing agency, right? With your sales team to convert 618 leads, how much what kind of resources do you need to invest in? Whether it is a CRM, whether it is any other commissions that you have to pay out to partners, whatever it is, right? So actually now you can because you've got your numbers here, you'll also be able to mota moti make a decision about the budget. So if you say that I don't have the budget to reach out to 2,000 people every month, so you know that your marketing budget is not in line with your revenue targets or your conversion ratios. So again, you need to go back and play around and say that, okay, how much of these, again, if your budget is not allowing you, then one thing is that you see, how can I improve on this? Right? How can I improve on this number? How can I improve on this number? Because these two, non-marketing and the value of my billing, will be two things which can improve my funnel without investing more on marketing, or vice versa. If you have a bigger marketing budget and you think that getting 2,000 people is not a challenge at all for you with that marketing budget, then you know that you've got a lot. You can be a little bit more aggressive in your sales numbers now. Does that help you, Akshay?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, that is what we are also very cautious about, because we don't want to burn much into marketing and then get nothing. So that is why we are going with a very realistic, because 1% is what we have thought that would be actually getting converted. So today also when we did a certain drive with our product, they were about 90% of people were engaged into the product and they liked it. But when the conversion came in, it came around 30-40%. But we don't believe in that also, because that is not the real money, because we were just asking the question. But once the real money and real things come into picture, I think it will be around 1% itself. But if it goes up, that's really good.
That's great. Yeah, this is great.
Yes.
Great, Akshay.
Yes.
That's good.
Thank you.
But thank you for asking those questions, because it gave me an opportunity to talk about budgeting also with you.
Yes, ma'am. Because we are very concerned about that thing when we draw a sales funnel, and everything should go in line for us.
Perfect. For those of you who are going to be using a marketing agency, my advice be that you share at least the top of this funnel with the marketing, if not the entire funnel. Share the top of the funnel with the marketing agency. They should understand that why you are asking for 2,000 visitors per month. Okay, and so because rather than just throwing a number at them, you say this is why I need 2,000 visitors per month, because I need to ensure that at the end of the month I have 182 signups.
Can you just give us a brief about e-commerce funnel, especially when customers are coming from SEO and also from paid digital media?
Okay, so if you see, the source of the funnel is the source of the visitors is not being captured specifically in this funnel, right? Because that is somewhere here on top of this. We'll be starting from the number of visitors, but in case you want to evaluate the source of your thing, so if you're doing for SEO ke liye, you can do a SEO funnel separately. If you have a partner, it can be a partner partner site, say you're getting people clicks happening, and you can also track that separate. Okay, so that is point one. The second thing is in terms of these stages. This is again dependent on your business. What is your product, Akshay?
We are selling homegrown handicrafts and artwork.
Okay, so what happens when a customer visits your website or the e-commerce site? Okay, what are the various things they do before they make the last purchase?
So they first come and browse the products and then put it in wish list or cart, and then finally make the purchase.
So okay, so now if they are, so this is the first one is the number of visitors. That is the same for you, right? For everything. Okay, you may have different funnels for different sources, but that's same, which is the same thing. Now you may not have people asking you for inquiry, except because this is a e-commerce site. So what are the other behaviors that is there? For example, you may say that this person clicks on the a product and stays there for let's say on the product page for more than 5 seconds, right? I'm sure that is you're kind of, you have some metrics around that also, right? How much time they're spending, right? So that could be one of your stages, because if I am somebody who's just visited but I have not checked any of the pages or I've not stayed on any of the pages, I'm not part of the funnel, right? I become part of the funnel only when I have spent some amount of time reading the content or about a particular product or service in that, right? So that could be one of your stages, right? Somebody who stayed there for a longer time, that could be one. Then the third one would be that they have added this to their cart. Now, not everybody who adds products to the cart actually checks out, right? So that's adding to the cart can be a third stage. The fourth stage will be the ones who actually complete the payment process, right? So these are, I can just think about these quickly now, these 4 stages. You will have to go back to your e-commerce site and see what are the other behaviors of the customer, which will indicate that they are actually moving along your sales funnel. And that behavior can become one of your stages.
Okay. That was helpful. Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Akshay. Does anybody over here have different revenue targets every month? Maybe you're launching a product, so initially you may not get that kind of numbers. It will take some traction for this to happen. Do you have, so that means you're saying first 2-3 months because I'll probably not get 182 invoices. I may just get 30-40. But after 3 months, I will reach 100, and after 6 months, I will reach 180.
Yes.
Yes, we have different like every month the target revises.
Targets are different.
Correct. So some of you may also have seasonality, right? If you're selling school products, in the beginning of the academic year is where you have a high volume, but then the rest of the other months may be a little lower volume, right? So how can you use this funnel for this kind of variance in the month? Any thoughts there?
We funnel for every month if you know your revenue what you are looking for.
Absolutely. And if you see, this is a monthly funnel itself, right? So every month you can have a different funnel, right? And based on your numbers, so you can, instead of having to do all this calculation every time, you can just go ahead and change this number, your monthly number, expected sales from marketing leads, or revenue per month. You can just change this number and it will calculate everything on its own. So this month maybe 2 lakhs for me, but next month it's actually 3 lakhs, because I think, or if you feel that this month I was not able to earn 2 lakhs, so I've been able to earn only 1 lakh. So 1 lakh gets carried forward to tomorrow, next month, so that my next month's target now becomes 3 lakhs. So you can just make this 3 lakhs. You can remove the formula and just type this as 3 lakhs, and it will change everything accordingly. Or initially, for each month, if you can have different numbers, different target numbers.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes,
you kind of mentioned that like currently, since we are a social networking platform, so for us it is important to kind of have, like, at the top of the funnel, people are getting aware of about the platform and then directly registering. Okay, so and at a later stage comes the sales. Okay, so like conversion. So in that case, like, can we go by the volume metric instead of the value metric currently for the months?
Yes.
Like,
yes,
so
yes.
if I just have, say, example, next month my like for the next 6 months, my target is to reach 10,000 active registered users. So I plan accordingly. So not every month will be equal, as you've just mentioned. So might be since we are very new, so maybe in the month of July it would be, say, acquiring 500. In the next it is 700, and then likewise we keep on increasing. So likewise, numbers we will put instead of that value thing. It will be numbers, like for every month.
Yes. So that's why I've not put any currency here. Okay, purposely, because for some startups the numbers make more sense. There are especially a lot of companies who are not even charging their customers, right? So the first initially they're just onboarding customers, and they intend to start putting a price tag only next year onwards. So this funnel will still be applicable to them, except your definition changes, right? So your target over here is not revenues target, but the number of customers who are signing up. So you can just simply rename this particular column over here, and the numbers will still apply for you. I have a budget of 20 lakhs, right, for my marketing, right? And I mean, so based on that, if I have to define my funnel, then it's a different game altogether, right? But vis-a-vis somebody who has a 2 lakh budget, that's one.
So basically, if we put in money and resources to increase the top of the funnel, it will work.
The key word is resources. Not money is one resource, right? Yes. Also, that's
why I added resources at the end.
Resources, yes.
Yeah.
When I did this case with a B2B company, okay, they realized that one of the reasons they have a low conversion at the feature discussion stage, right, is because they have limited people to have those discussions.
Okay.
Their own internal teams. Like the CEO is typical, right? The CEO is the most, the founder is the one who is the most knowledgeable about the product, right?
Yes.
So invariably, all the discussions go to him. So his time was limited, and that was a roadblock. We were actually able to identify that there is no way that he could have 198 discussions in a month.
Bhupesh here from City Today Business Private Limited.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, you have just had that tool related to the funnel model, right? So when you have the incremental revenue every month, we are just planning to increase the revenue per month. So what other tools that we can just go with that except the funnel?
You'll have to explain what is incremental revenue. Is that like the price tag changes, or your revenue target changes?
Volumetric, like volumetric on invoices or volumetric of product manufacturing. So in that perspective, how we can just go and find the model. Either we can just use funnel model itself, or we can just what is your suggestion on using other models?
See, the funnel model is used predominantly for you to plan your sales and marketing efforts and resources better. Okay, so if that is your agenda, then I think a funnel model is the great one. But if you're looking at how do I get recurring revenue and from the existing customers, how do I create a subscription model where any customer, if you have, for example, if you have a subscription model and you don't have a lock-in, that means anybody 1 month they can stop buying from you, right? There, more than the funnel model, I will ask you to look at the customer journey mapping.
Okay.
Or the customer purchase path to purchase model, right? Use those models first to identify the gaps, and use a funnel predominantly to get your sales efforts, sales and marketing efforts into place.
So we are launching our marketing campaign. We are trying to figure out which are those ways we need to go there.
Okay.
I have the question regarding the allotment of the budget, because we are into the agriculture, like precision farming and data-driven decision making, and mobile application and the hardware devices. So we need our existence online as well as the physical also on the feed. And right now we are struggling how much percentage of the budget we need to put it on the online, how much the resources we need to apply on the feed. So if you give maybe a little bit hint or maybe some kind of thumb rule, it will be really great.
Okay, so again in the funnel, if you see what did we do, we worked backwards. What's the revenue that you want to generate? Okay, and what are the different stages, and then based on your conversion rates, we've arrived at what should be your top of the funnel, which is your marketing budget. Okay, the same thing will apply for you also. What revenue numbers are you targeting? Okay, and if you don't have your conversion rates, make it as a what if situation, right? What if I have this conversion rate? What if I have another conversion rate? Make that analysis and try to see which one is possible and which of that is practically possible for you. Okay, what if my budget marketing, what if I need to attract 20,000 people in a month? Okay, for that, what is the marketing budget that I need to have? So this is where you talk to your marketing teams or your agency and say, hey, if I need to have a consistent 20,000 people visiting my website, or if it's a B2B making a call to me or filling up a form for me or downloading an app for me, what budgets do I need to allocate over there? Right? So again, the idea that all of these will arrive. You will arrive at all of these things based on your revenue targets. That is why that's why I connected the sales and the marketing funnel, because it's not two different things for most of us.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah.
We primarily target small retailers.
Okay.
So it's been 4 years we are in business, and most of it's word of mouth. So we are now looking into a CRM system. Of course, to get to the tool you suggested, we need some kind of a CRM system. So do you suggest any startup-friendly CRM tool or CRM system at this stage?
There are quite a few of them, right? I think globally, what's everybody's favorite is HubSpot, but that can be expensive if you have a larger team. It's really very good when you have a very small team, but as you add more and more people, it becomes expensive. But there are others. There are also Indian homegrown products like Edge CRM is there. A couple of others. the best thing I would do is go and do a search on the G2 software quadrant and see which are the best CRM tools for small businesses or for startups in this year. And I'll get a whole list of companies from there to pick up.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, we'll do the book.
Good evening.
Somebody's mentioned the company he's using, a product he's using, clientjoy.io, pipedrive.com. We've got a couple of suggestions in the chat.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Thank you.